You know, in life, we often find ourselves facing challenges that seem too big to handle, moments when we feel stuck or discouraged. But let me tell you something. There's something bigger at play. You may not see it in the moment, but God is always working on you, shaping you, preparing you for something greater. Think about this for a moment. Every difficulty you go through, every obstacle that stands in your way, isn't just a random event. It's part of a bigger plan. It's a test of your strength, your character, your faith. And what you may see as setbacks, they might just be setups for the breakthrough that's coming your way. God doesn't just watch you from the sidelines. He's actively involved in your life, guiding you, molding you, and helping you grow in ways that might be hard to understand now, but in time, you'll see the purpose. Even in your lowest moments, remember, there's a divine hand at work leading you to the next chapter of your life and preparing you for greatness. So trust the process, trust that you're not alone, and know that God is working on you even when you don't see it. Here are 5 potential headings for a motivational speech on the topic God is working for you. 1, trusting the process, embracing God's plan for your life. 2, overcoming obstacles, how God uses challenges to shape you. 3, strength in struggles, finding purpose in the tough times. 4, patience in waiting, understanding God's timing and preparation. 5, the power of faith, believing in God's work behind the scenes. Explanation of 1 heading is, you know, life can sometimes feel like it's a series of events that happen to us, often without any rhyme or reason. We go through seasons of highs and lows, moments of triumph and moments of struggle. But here's something I want you to understand. Everything you go through, every experience, every challenge, it's all part of a bigger plan. That's right. God is working in your life. And the key to navigating it all is learning to trust the process. Now, trusting the process isn't always easy. In fact, it can be incredibly difficult at times, especially when things aren't going the way you expected. We often find ourselves asking, why is this happening to me? Or why isn't everything falling into place like I hoped? These questions are natural, but here's the thing. You don't always need to understand every detail right away. It's about having the faith to trust that something greater is unfolding, even if you can't see it in the moment. Think about it this way. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing, right? You trust that it's doing its work beneath the surface, even if you can't immediately see the progress. It's the same with God's plan for your life. There may be moments where you feel stuck or unsure, but trust that God is working in ways that you can't yet comprehend. His timing is always perfect, even if it doesn't line up with your own. Your job is not to force things to happen on your timeline, but to remain patient and trust that everything is unfolding in the right way at the right time. The truth is, God's plan for you is often much bigger than your own. Sometimes the path you want to take isn't the path that's best for you. You may have a vision for your life, but God sees the bigger picture. He knows what you need to grow, what experiences will build your character, and what challenges will teach you the most. And it's in those challenges where the real growth happens. It's easy to celebrate the good times, but it's during the tough seasons that God refines you, shapes you, and prepares you for what's ahead. So when things don't go your way, don't panic, don't lose heart. Instead, remind yourself that God is still at work. You are still in the process of becoming the person He created you to be. Every lesson, every setback, every victory, it's all part of a divine plan. And even though you may not fully understand it right now, you can trust that God's purpose for your life is bigger than anything you can imagine. You want to see God's purpose of your life is bigger than anything you can imagine. Embracing this process requires patience, faith, and persistence. It requires the belief that even when things are difficult, they're not pointless. They're not just obstacles meant to slow you down. They are opportunities for growth. God is shaping your heart, building your resilience, and strengthening your character for what lies ahead. He's preparing you for something far greater than you can see right now. You might not always feel like you're making progress. You might feel like you're stuck in the same place, waiting for things to change. But trust me, you're not stuck. God is at work. Even in the moments where it feels like nothing is happening, something is always happening. Growth is taking place. Change is coming. But the key to experiencing it is trusting the process. Trusting the process means accepting that there will be good days and bad days. There will be easy seasons and hard seasons, but through it all, God is there, shaping and guiding you. So let go of the need to control everything. Let go of the idea that you need to have it all figured out right now. Trust that God has a plan for you that is bigger and better than anything you could have dreamed up yourself. When you learn to trust the process, you stop focusing on the roadblocks and start focusing on the opportunities. You stop worrying about what's not working, and you begin to see all that God is doing behind the scenes. You start to appreciate the lessons, the growth, and the preparation that's taking place. And before you know it, you'll look back and realize that everything you went through was leading you exactly where you needed to go. So trust in the process. Embrace God's plan for your life, knowing that it is good, it is purposeful, and it is leading you to something greater than you could ever imagine. Keep moving forward with faith, even when you don't see the full picture, and remember God is working on you always. Explanation of two heading is, life isn't always a smooth ride. It's full of challenges, obstacles, and difficulties that can sometimes leave us feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to move forward. But I want you to remember something powerful today. Every obstacle you face has a purpose. And more than that, it's an opportunity for God to shape you, to grow you, and to prepare you for the next chapter of your life. Here's the thing. When we encounter obstacles, it's easy to get frustrated or even discouraged. We often think, why me? Or why is this happening right now? It's human nature to want to avoid discomfort, to avoid pain, and to look for the quickest way out of tough situations. But I want to challenge that mindset. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, start seeing them as stepping stones. These challenges are not there to defeat you. They are there to develop you. God uses these obstacles to refine you, to build your strength, and to teach you lessons that will serve you well for the rest of your life. Think about it. You don't grow in your comfort zone. Growth comes from pushing through those moments when you're stretched, when you're forced to dig deep and find strength you didn't even know you had. Those are the moments that God is using to shape your character, your resilience, and your faith. Every challenge you face is a tool in God's hands, molding you into the person you were always meant to be. It's like a sculptor working on a piece of marble. That block of stone looks rough, unpolished, and imperfect. But with each strike of the chisel, the sculptor brings out something beautiful, something unique. The same is true for your life. Those obstacles you face are like the sculptor's chisel, shaping you into something more than you ever thought possible. Those obstacles you face are like the sculptor's tools, shaping you into something new, bright. Take a moment to reflect on the tough times you've already been through. Think about the obstacles you've overcome in the past. Didn't they teach you something valuable? Didn't they make you stronger? If you're like most people, you've learned some of your greatest life lessons from the challenges you've faced. You've learned what you're truly capable of. You've learned how to persevere, and you've learned to trust that God is always with you, even when things seem impossible. But here's the secret. It's not just about overcoming the obstacle. It's about what you become in the process. It's about the strength you gain, the wisdom you acquire, and the faith that grows within you. God doesn't waste your struggles. Every difficulty you face has the potential to bring you closer to the person you're meant to become. Every challenge is an opportunity for you to become more resilient, more compassionate, more patient, and more trusting in His plan for your life. When you start to see challenges this way, when you start to see them as opportunities rather than setbacks, you begin to approach life differently. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as someone who is capable of overcoming anything. You realize that God is working in and through you, even in the hardest times. He is using these obstacles to make you stronger, to equip you with the tools you need to succeed. So when the next challenge comes, and trust me, it will come, Don't be quick to complain or give up. Instead, embrace it. Understand that God is at work. He is building you up, preparing you for something greater. You might not see the full picture right now, but know this: every obstacle has a purpose, and that purpose is to shape you into the person God has called you to be. This is where faith comes in. It's easy to trust when things are going well, but it's when things are tough that your faith is truly tested. Will you continue to trust God when the road gets rough? Will you keep moving forward even when the path is unclear? Will you allow God to use these obstacles to refine you and make you stronger? That's the real challenge. That's where the growth happens. Remember, God isn't just watching from the sidelines while you struggle. He is right there with you, walking beside you every step of the way. He knows what you're going through, and He will never leave you. The obstacles you face today are shaping you for the victories of tomorrow. You may not see it now, but on the other side of every challenge, there's a greater version of you waiting to emerge. So the next time you face an obstacle, take a deep breath and remember, this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a new chapter in your journey. God is using this moment to shape you, to prepare you, and to build you into the person you're destined to be. Embrace it, learn from it, and trust that God is at work in your life every single step of the way. Explanation of 3 heading is, we all go through tough times. Life has a way of throwing curveballs when we least expect them. It's easy to feel discouraged, to wonder if things will ever get better. But here's a powerful truth I want you to hold on to. Your struggles are not in vain. They are not just obstacles to endure. They are opportunities for growth. And within those tough times, there's purpose, there's strength, there's something being built inside of you that can only come from going through the fire. Now, I get it. When you're in the middle of a difficult season, it can be hard to see the bigger picture. You're focused on surviving, on getting through the day. But what if I told you that your toughest moments could actually be the moments that shaped you the most? What if those struggles were the very thing that sets you up for something greater down the road? It might not feel like it in the moment, but those challenges are building the strength you need for the future. Think about the most successful people you know. Do you think they got to where they are without facing adversity? Of course not. Every successful person has gone through their share of struggles, moments where they felt like giving up, moments where things seemed impossible, but they didn't quit. They pushed through. They found strength in their struggles, and they came out stronger on the other. And that's exactly what you can do too. You see, strength is built through struggle. Just like a muscle that gets stronger with exercise, your character, your resilience, your faith, these things are built through the challenges you face. It's easy to coast through life when everything is going well. Now, I'm not saying that struggles are easy. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt, that it doesn't feel heavy at times. I'm not suggesting that you should just brush off the tough seasons of life like they don't matter. They matter. They're important. But what I am saying is that within those tough times, there's purpose. God uses those struggles to refine you, to teach you lessons, and to prepare you for what's ahead. In the middle of your struggles, you might not see the purpose right away. It might seem like everything is falling apart, like you're never going to make it through. But trust me, you're not going through this for no reason. There's a lesson in it. There's something you're meant to learn. And if you can keep moving forward, if you can keep your faith and your focus, you'll come out of that struggle stronger, wiser, more prepared for the future. One of the greatest gifts in life is learning how to find purpose in the tough times. It's easy to find meaning when everything is going well. But when you can look at a difficult situation and ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? How can I grow from this? That's when you begin to unlock the true power in your struggles. There's something incredibly empowering about understanding that the challenges you face are not just random, they are part of your journey. They are the stepping stones that lead you to where you need to go. The struggle is not the end of the story, it's just the beginning. And in the process of going through it, you are becoming stronger, more capable, and more prepared for the future. It's also important to recognize that you're not alone in your struggles. God is with you every step of the way. Even when you feel like you're walking through the fire, He's right there beside you, guiding you, comforting you, and giving you the strength you need to keep going. The struggles you face don't have to break you. They can build you if you let them. God uses those tough times to refine your character, to build your faith, and to help you grow into the person you were meant to be. Explanation of 4 heading is, life has a way of making us feel like we're always waiting for something. Maybe you're waiting for a breakthrough in your career, a relationship to take off, or an opportunity that seems just out of reach. And in that waiting, it's easy to feel frustrated, restless, even doubtful. But I want you to understand something today. Waiting is not wasted time. It's a time of preparation. It's a time for God to work in you and through you. And if you can learn to be patient in the waiting, you'll find that the best things in life are worth the wait. We live in a world that values instant gratification. We want things now, not later. But life doesn't always work that way. God's timing is different from ours. And sometimes we need to step back and realize that the delays and waiting periods are part of a bigger plan. In fact, think about it for a moment. When you plant a seed, you don't expect it to grow into a tree overnight, do you? No, you water it, you nurture it, and you wait. Over time, it begins to take root, grow strong, and eventually produce fruit. Your life is no different. The waiting period is like the time a seed spends beneath the soil. You may not see anything on the surface, but underneath, something important is happening. God is preparing you for the next stage of your life. Just like that seed is being prepared to grow into something strong and fruitful. It's in the waiting that God molds your character, strengthens your faith, and builds your endurance. If you rush through the waiting, you might miss the lessons that are meant to be learned in that time. Patience in waiting doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means trusting God, being active in your faith, and continuing to move forward, even when you don't see the results immediately. It means having the confidence that God is working behind the scenes, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Patience isn't passive. It's an active, intentional choice to trust God's timing and to remain faithful to what He's calling you to do, even when the rewards aren't immediate. It's easy to get discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as we want them to, but I want to encourage you today, God's timing is always perfect. It might not match your timeline, but it's always right on time. And what He's preparing for you in this waiting season is far greater than what you could have imagined on your own. Now let me tell you something. There's a powerful transformation that happens when you can trust God in the waiting. When you understand that God is using this time to prepare you for something greater, you begin to see the waiting differently. You start to embrace it. You understand that this is a time of growth. It's a time to build your skills, to grow in wisdom, and to become the person who can handle the success and the opportunities that are coming your way. Without this waiting, without this preparation, you wouldn't be ready for what God has in store for you. There are times when you'll wonder if the waiting will ever end. You'll wonder if what you're hoping for will ever come to pass. But I want you to hold on to this truth. God never forgets His promises. What He has spoken over your life will come to pass in His perfect time. The question is, will you trust Him while you wait? Will you continue to pursue your goals, to keep building your faith, and to keep moving forward, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere? Or when you get, that's what patience and waiting is all about. The preparation that happens in the waiting season is just as important as the outcome. You might be waiting for a big break, a promotion, a change in circumstances, or a dream to come true, but before you get there, God is working on you. He's building your character. He's teaching you lessons that will serve you well when you step into that next phase of your life. Don't rush the process. Trust that God knows what He's doing and that His timing is far better than anything you could plan for yourself. And remember, you're not waiting alone. God is right there with you, walking alongside you, strengthening you in ways that you might not even see. In the moments of waiting, He's working in your heart, teaching you patience, teaching you trust, and preparing you for what's ahead. When the time is right, he'll open the door. And when that moment comes, you'll be ready. Not because of anything you've done on your own, but because you've trusted his timing and allowed him to prepare you for something far greater than you ever could have imagined. So let go of the pressure to rush things. Trust in God's timing. Be patient. The waiting is not wasted. It's your time of preparation. And when the time comes for you to step into what he's been preparing you for, you'll see that every moment of waiting is worth it. Explanation of heading 5 is, there are moments in life when things don't seem to make sense. You've been working hard, doing everything you can, and yet the results seem far off. You're praying, you're hoping, and yet the breakthrough you're waiting for hasn't arrived. It's in those moments when you're feeling uncertain or even defeated that your faith has the most power. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when the path isn't clear. It's the belief that even when you can't see it, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating something far greater than you could ever imagine. Let me tell you something important. Just because you can't see God working doesn't mean he isn't. Faith is believing in what you can't see. It's knowing that something is happening, even if the evidence isn't visible to the eye. And this is where the power of faith truly lies. It's not about what's in front of you right now, but about trusting that God is at work, even when it feels like nothing is happening. And that trust a seed. You plant it in the soil, and at first you see nothing. There's no sign of growth. It's easy to think that nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots are growing, and the seed is preparing itself to break through the soil and grow into something beautiful. Your faith is the same. Even when you can't see the growth, something is happening. God is at work in ways that are beyond your comprehension, preparing you for something far greater than you can see in the moment. Faith isn't always easy. It's easy to believe when things are going well, when everything is in your favor, but the true power of faith comes in the moments when things aren't going as planned, when you're facing setbacks, when things feel uncertain, when it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. That's when your faith matters most. That's when you have to trust that God is working behind the scenes, even if the results haven't shown up yet. One of the biggest challenges we face is the desire for control. We want things to happen on our terms and on our timeline. But faith is the opposite of control. It's about surrendering to God's timing and trusting that he knows what's best for you, even when it's hard to see. When you trust in God's work behind the scenes, you're saying, I don't have to have all the answers right now. I trust that you are working, and that in the right time, you will reveal what you've been preparing for me. In your life, there are countless things happening behind the scenes that you don't even know about. Opportunities are being set up. People are being placed in your path. Circumstances are shifting. And through all of it, God is moving, working things together for your good. Sometimes the things we're going through are setting us up for something even greater. Sometimes the delays and the detours are part of the plan, working to bring us to a place where we are more ready, more prepared, and more capable of handling what God has for us. The power of faith is about trust. It's about saying, I may not understand why things are the way they are right now, but I know that God is at work. It's trusting that he sees the bigger picture, that he knows what you need, and that he's working things together for your benefit. Faith is about being willing to take one step forward, even when you can't see the next step. It's believing that God is guiding you even when you can't see the path ahead. When you place your faith in God's work behind the scenes, you are free from the anxiety of trying to make things happen yourself. You stop worrying about the timing and the details, and you start focusing on trusting him. You begin to understand that the delays, the waiting, and the struggles are all part of the bigger picture. God is preparing you, strengthening you, and positioning you for the next phase of your journey. Faith in God's work behind the scenes also gives you the strength to keep going even when things look bleak. When you know that God is working on your behalf, even when you can't see it, it allows you to keep moving forward with confidence. You begin to understand that every setback is not a sign that you're being abandoned. is just another opportunity for God to work in ways that you can't yet understand. And before you know it, you see. So hold on to your faith. Trust that even when you can't see it, God is working behind the scenes. The breakthrough you're waiting for is on its way. The opportunities, the people, the circumstances, they're all aligning in ways that you can't yet see. And when it all comes together, you'll look back and realize that everything you went through, every moment of waiting, was part of God's perfect plan for your life. And that's bad. Keep your faith strong. Trust in God's timing, trust in His plan, and trust that He is always working on your behalf. You are not alone in this. So, remember this, even in the waiting, the struggles, and the moments of uncertainty, God is always at work behind the scenes. Trust His timing, keep your faith strong, and know that He is preparing you for something greater. Your breakthrough is on its way, and the strength, wisdom, and resilience you're gaining today will serve you for the future. Stay faithful, keep moving forward, and trust that God's plan is unfolding in ways you can't yet see, but it's coming.